Hello and welcome to my new website for the LCO, the Book of Constitutions and Ordinations of the Brothers of the Order of Preachers. My name is Father Scott Steinkirchner, and I created this site in response to a request from the General Chapter at Tultenango in 2022. You can see part of it highlighted on this page, that not only the updated translation of the LCO in the official languages of the order, but also its easy accessibility according to the current technological means, and a possible continuous reflection on its updating. So this is a website with a database driven of the constitutions, and the goal is to have it in 4 languages. Right now it just has 2, Latin and English, but to get 4 languages and every version from 68 to current. And so this summer we have another general chapter, and I could tell you by a week after getting the changes to the LCO, I could have them in this database and accessible to everyone. So that's the point of this website, to give everybody access to the LCO, but also to look and see how has it changed over the years. And that's really the brilliant part of this, I think. So if we go home, here's the LCO. It's got the fundamental constitutions, the life of the brothers, the government of the order. And you can see that it's in English and in Latin. If you want Spanish, there's a good version here, and there's a link from that to this page on the info page. So this one is a very nicely laid out, very fast Spanish version. But this one is made to do a few more things. So not just Latin. Let's go back to English here. And as you drill down, of course, you get, coming across the top, this breadcrumb to show you where you are in the structure. And then these are the various paragraphs. And if you look at any of them, that has a little information thing next to it. You say, show me this. Well, this is 1968 to present. Well, I only have the changes from 2010 to present now. So it could have changed before 2010 and we haven't noticed yet. But we can also go back in history by just changing this effective date. And I'll show you that by another page I have ready, because this has really changed the election of a vicar provincial. So this is what it is in 2025. We can say, what was it like in 2018? And we put that date down here, and all of this changes to what this is in 2018. And we can look at any particular one of these paragraphs and say, well, this was in effect from 2016 to 2022. There was an older one in effect before then. Well, what was that older one? To any particular section, paragraph, if you hit this I button, you can look at its revision history, and it'll show you, here's the version that started in 2022, that was in force starting in 2022. What's different about it? Well, the part in magenta, and we have a legend over here that tells you this, the words in magenta were added to it. So the previous version just had 1 or 2. We added a 3rd item, and there you see 1, 2. The 3rd item is missing. This is the version that was in force from 2016 to 2022. And what's different about it? Well, they added 1 and 2. There was apparently nothing in this statute from 2010 to 2016. This was a vacated paragraph. And you can see, because it's all crossed out, but also it used to be a constitution when it had all this in it. and then it was vacated. And then when it came back to be reused again, it became an ordination, no longer a constitution. So in any particular version, what you have here is the dates that it's in force, whether it's an ordination or constitution, and the particular legislation from acts of the general chapter that authorize this version. So it was accepted in Bologna in 2016 in paragraph number 319 of the Acts of the General Chapter. And then it was seconded in Viennois in 2019, paragraph number 418. And it was made definitive in 2022 in Tultenango. It's provisional in these times, it's definitive here, so it doesn't revert back. So you can find all that by this revision history. Or we can go back to this in the statute and change the date here. And you can change the language here. Or you can just search. For instance, we can search for regional prior. And this will show you all the pages that have regional prior on it. So that one had regional prior. 385 also mentions regional prior, so we can look at one of these. And see, this one doesn't have, oh, here's regional, the regional prior is elected for 4 years. But if we look at the revision history of this, it's currently vacated since 2016. And from 2013 to 2016, it read like that. So the idea of this version of the LCO is to give people a real way to look and say, how has any particular legislation changed over the years? To give an insight then as to why were these changes, but to be able to see them all here, I think is really a new way of interacting with the LCO, completely in line with this information about, we want to see about its updating. One other technical thing you have here is the rules. These are, I pulled out for you some of the rules about how constitutions and ordinations get updated. It's a very complex thing. But if you look on the LCO here online, we've worked through those and you can make more sense out of it than trying to paw through all these rules. That's about it. I'm really looking for help on this, but I think it's already quite useful, particularly for people who are looking at making changes to the Constitution. They can see the history of particular statutes that they're thinking of playing with, and it'll just let them do their research a lot more quickly. I also want to get in the Spanish version integrated into this, and I need some help to get a French version integrated in. And then there's also some decisions to be made about particular wording, like regional prior versus vicar provincial, and a house versus a convent versus a priory. So there's work to be done. It's very useful. If you think you might be able to help, my name is at the bottom, my email right here. Write to me, and I'd love to get some help to keep this moving forward and make this an even more useful thing for the order. God bless you.